Welcome to Mark Arnold's Finance. If I look a little bit relaxed today, it's because I just got back from a week-long vacation to Costa Rica, and I thought I'd share some pictures for you guys to see. It's a beautiful place. This first picture is the sunset on the beach. We stayed in a Verbo, and it took us about a minute walk to the beach. So the backyard, you just literally walk out right to the beach. Such a beautiful sight. Then we went on a snorkeling trip, and on the way we saw a rare sight of two blue whales, a baby and the mama. And man, the mom was huge. It looked like a submarine coming out of the water, and just how lucky we were to see something rare like that. And then just to show you the greenness of Costa Rica, this was an island on that boat tour that we passed. Just tropical, beautiful, so much green. I've never seen so much green in my life. I'm from Albuquerque, which is a high desert, which has its own beauty, but I'm not used to green, so it was really cool to experience. And what I want to say is, it's good to take a break from the rat race, right? We get too caught up, I feel, in life and working and worrying about investments and bills and all that stuff. You have to learn to take a break because life is too short. And I want to talk a little bit more about that in the end, but I thought I'd start off the video to let you guys know where I was this last week. And so before I get started, if you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe. I'm somebody that is very transparent, and I provide my portfolio performance with every single video, which I'm going to do here in just a second. I also provide diverse content. I'm always learning and growing, so I can share that with you guys. So to start off, let's look at my portfolio performance. Of course, when I was on vacation, I decided not to look at any news, any market, data, nothing. And I came back to my portfolio, going down pretty drastically. So before I was in the green 6 to 7%, now is only up a little over 2%. So we can see here that T-Row is back in the red. That's T-Row price. Meta's dropped more. 3M, I think that's a lot with their litigation. Of course, AT&T is just, I feel, never going to get out of the red. AbbVie is one that has dropped too significantly. This is one that I was in the green closer to 80% at one point. VIXIS, my international ETF, is down. Overall, the markets are down, and there's a reason why. That reason is Jerome Powell had a speech that he did yesterday where he said he is keeping a strong stance on reducing inflation. In fact, we saw news articles like this where he states that the Fed is ready to bring some pain to households and businesses. These are the unfortunate costs of reducing inflation. Of course, the market is going to look at this negatively because I think when they saw a few months of reduced inflation, they thought we're in the clear, we're going to be selling strong, but we're still at 40-year highs. And so Jerome Powell is saying we still have a lot of work to do. 2 months of reduction in inflation is not enough, nearly enough for us to be comfortable with pulling back on our strategy. So we are to expect future high rate hikes. Americans will feel this effect. As he stated, there's going to be some pain, which will come in the form of job losses, hiring slowdowns, and borrowing money will get a lot more difficult and expensive. So he's saying we have to pay the price now in order to avoid a higher price later if we aren't able to control this inflation. Some inflation reduction occurred, like I mentioned, but he says we need much more than just 2 months to show that, hey, it's working. Because there was a time in the 70s where he used an example where they didn't work hard enough to control inflation. They thought it's fine, it's reducing somewhat, we're good, but in the 80s, inflation hit hard. So that's what he means by 2 months isn't enough to say we got inflation under control. So they will continue to use their tools forcefully, is his words, to restore the balance of supply and demand. He also said, Jerome Powell said, that there's another unusual increase that is possible in September. Now, we've seen the 75 basis points increase. That's what the market is now expecting again. Maybe 50 on the low end, 75 is probably, I think, what most people will say is the high end, but more the expected case scenario. And so that's something that, again, the market wasn't prepared for. They thought he would be delivering good news, like we'll be easing what we're doing. But no, he's saying we're staying strong with this forceful these forceful tools that we have to reduce inflation and help restore the balance of supply and demand. He said, without price stability, the economy does not work for anyone. And I feel that, personally, this is me, I feel that during COVID, there was a time where a lot of big government officials and economists were saying that we don't need to worry about inflation. This whole pandemic thing was a one-off. And what happened? Inflation came in, and it came in hard. So I think now they're really trying to quickly resolve this, and it's creating some fear and anxiety, especially in the stock market. As I said, I came back to the stock market being lower, and so when I researched it, this was why. And we can see here that the S&P 500 is down 3.37% in one day. The NASDAQ went down almost 4% at 3.94%. The Dow Jones was down over 1,000 points, or a little over 3%. So people are now becoming more fearful. They are pricing in a longer recovery. They're pricing in the Fed keeping their forceful stance for a lot longer than they were expecting. But with that said, while people are going to be fearful and selling out, this is going to create more opportunities for you and I. Us investors, we know that we have those companies, those watch lists of our wants. This might be another opportunity we get, a rare opportunity to buy into companies we want. I mentioned that I want to buy into Ally Financials or Costco. We'll see if I will be able to do that. I need them to get at better price valuations, in my opinion. But these are the times we need to take advantage of these situations as investors. So that's what I plan on doing. I'm not freaking out. I came back and actually was kind of happy because I felt like, man, I missed out. The market started going back up, but now we might start to see it go back down for a little while. So do not hesitate to buy into those companies that you really want to get in if they reach great price points. You just need to do your own research and figure out, okay, at what point will I buy into this company, and then do it, because a few times I didn't do it and I regretted it. So this time I'm ready. I have in my mind the companies I want to buy into. So if Ally goes down to a certain point, I'll buy. If Costco goes down to a certain point, I'll buy. If neither of them do, I have other companies in my portfolio I will add to. Microsoft being one of them, because it's now going back down pretty significantly. So that's what I came back to after vacation. This is what's happening. The Fed, Jerome Powell, they're still being extremely forceful with trying to slow inflation. It's still at 40-year highs, so they need to get it down. And they're saying we are not stopping at this point, nor do we plan on stopping anytime soon. So it's just going to create opportunities for us. Don't be fearful. Don't sell out. Too many people I know start to sell out when the markets start going down. Why would you do that? You sell when the market is up, not when it's down. So there are some companies that I was going to sell out of. I decided to stay in, like T. Rowe Price, because obviously when the market has a negative outlook, especially regarding inflation and the news that Jerome Powell stated, less people are going to be putting money into assets or investing. So with T. Rowe Price being an investment management company, they're not going to get as much business or people investing like they have been. That we're going to see a slowdown there. So of course they're going to slow down. But I think they're a high quality company, so I will just add more and average down. 3M was another one I was wanting to possibly sell out of, but I still think 3M has some strength that I'm willing to stick it out longer. They just have so much litigation, and I'm just seeing if that gets a little too tangled for them. But as of now, I feel they'll be fine. 3M, there's so many products you don't realize that many people use. You and I probably use them at least monthly, if not for sure quarterly, just especially if you own a home. So 3M is one that I thought about, but I decided not to. So I'm going to end it with this picture. The first one you saw when I was showing you the pictures of my trip. And I just want to say, learn to take a break. Learn to put that balance in between working hard and then rewarding yourself. You have to reward yourself. Life is too short, and you cannot sit there and squeeze every penny at the expense of living life. You can't sit there and obsess every single day, logging in throughout the day, dozens of times, seeing where the market is day in and day out, because you're taking time away from your life that you could be doing other things, right? There's a balance in figuring out what's a effective, appropriate amount of time I need to spend on this, and that goes for anything in life. So take that trip, right? Take that vacation with your family. Go travel to see your family. Go on that dinner with your friends. Do all these things, because if you're sitting there trying to pinch every little penny and avoiding going on that trip to see your family or that trip to go on vacation, in the end, you're going to look back and regret it, because life is too short and there's got to be a balance. There's always got to be a balance. So I say work hard, but play hard. And that's what I did. And I came back feeling very reset and ready. And I had no problem. Honestly, it was very nice to not be looking at the stock market every day. And I plan on doing that a little bit more often and putting some more balance in, because long term, you're going to look back and realize, even if you looked at the stock market once a week, you can look back and say, if I'm a long-term investor, that doesn't even really matter. So with that said, guys, I hope you have a fantastic day. Do something to reward yourself for all your hard work. Go out there, do something. Let me know what you plan on doing to reward yourself. And also let me know what companies you're eyeing should we go now on another downtrend. I'd be very curious to know. So I'm going to tell you the next thing I'm going to reward myself in, and that's going to be a nice long hike in the mountains next weekend, because getting out in nature is my medicine. So again, let me know your reward for yourself in the next couple weeks. Be sure to set time aside at least once a week for something, even if it's an hour, but have those big plans as well, like an international trip or something like that. It's worth it. You don't want to wait till you're older and maybe can't do those things because you can't predict the future and your health. So get out there, do things, work hard, play hard. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time on Mark Arnold's Finance.